is a show that focuses on the person behind the brony. I'm your host, Osaka Jack. Please sit back and relax as we talk to this week's guest brony. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Into the Spotlight. This is your host, Osaka Jack, and with me I have a guest and a special guest. Today I have with me Kat Whitney. Hello, Kat.
Hello. Hi there.
How are things today?
Good. Very good.
And with Kat, we have someone else that we might know. Hello.
Hello.
For those listening who don't immediately recognize the voice, and why wouldn't you, could you sign in, mystery caller?
This is Raven Molisee. I'm a board artist on My Little Pony.
Yay!
A senior board artist. Yeah. Yes.
Do you get the AARP discount for being a senior board artist?
No. They have AARP in Canada?
That'd be cool. I don't think so. I don't know. I know nothing. I've lived there for how long now?
That might be worth trying. Go to the movies. Can I get senior discount? It says it right there on my business card. Look, senior board artist. Come on.
I've trapped you.
For those who don't know, both of my guests are quite prolific artists in their own right. Well, just, Kat, how did you get started drawing pony?
Drawing pony. Ponies actually pulled me back into art. I was a huge artist growing up, and in high school, my uncle actually is a relatively famous artist in his own right. He's done a lot of stuff, and I grew up with him teaching me how to draw.
Oh.
And then, right after high school, I just kind of got depressed with the whole thing, and I started working retail 40 hours a week and would come home and pass out and not draw anything. And probably about 6 months into the first season of My Little Pony, I saw it and was immediately taken with the animation and the characters, and I'm an 80s girl, so ponies already had a special place in my heart.
Right.
And I thought, oh gosh, I should really try this. And started drawing it and was instantly hooked.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
How about you, Raven? How did you start? Do you remember?
Start drawing or start...
Yeah. Drawing in general, or art in general. What pulled you into it?
Cartoons. Like, just anything that I watched as a kid. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, specifically. Because it was even before, like, Disney Afternoon and Rescue Rangers. Like, that's when I really, really got into it. But I always drew cats and people and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I was really young.
Oh.
But yeah, just I guess persisting for like, you know, it always helps me relax.
Okay. Well, sure. I think a lot of people, relax with it. I am terrible at drawing, but if I sketch out a pony in 25 minutes, I'm like, oh, I feel better.
Drawing a smile sometimes.
I'm one of those people. If I'm drawing a sad picture, I will sit there with this frown on my face, and my husband will walk in, and he'll be like, "Oh no, what happened? Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "I'm just working on this really sad picture, and it's just coming out."
It really helps. Like when I worked at AKA, I always had a mirror at my desk, and just like not just looking into the mirror to check your expressions, but actually making the face it makes you feel it. Like
it comes through. You can, I mean, if you've been doing art for a long time, you can actually tell what mood you're in when you were working on a piece.
Sure. Well, and there have been psychology studies that show that just performing the facial expression will change your mood.
I can see that works.
I've tried it.
So if you're feeling sad, try smiling more. It makes you happier.
Yeah, and not like putting a false smile on. It's just
no.
If you put a little effort into trying to genuinely feel it, I can attest that it actually works. I don't know why I'm making hand gestures.
Just for me.
Yeah. Just for you.
Oh.
Well, the hand gestures were so specific I could actually see them. It was very amazing. You formed sound pictures with your hands. It was very cool. Well, see, Kat, I noticed you got you get a lot of requests for commissions on your DeviantArt page. How many do you do in average time? Like how many?
Not a lot. A lot of the projects that I work on are special requests from friends, or I did all of the announcement artwork for Everfree Northwest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm working on a big kind of secret project with Acoustic Brony. And then I have a huge commission, which I can't go into specifics about, but I have a really big one from the one and only Tabitha St. Germain right now.
Oh, goodness.
So most of my time is taken up by special projects. Commissions 2 or 3 times a year when I really need food money. But I do get a ton of requests, and I'm just so flattered that people would want to spend their money on my artwork. It's pretty amazing to me that this has happened in a year.
Yeah.
But I really can't open them up as much as I'd want to. Hopefully soon I'll catch up with everything and be able to open them up again.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a limit. If you try to please everybody, you'll please nobody.
Exactly.
I know I mentioned it in a different interview, but you did finish a commission for me recently that had Scootaloo.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
That was a lot of fun, and it got it got the expected response from MLP Problems. He was so happy with it.
And Maddie liked it, which is great.
Yes.
Maddie is the biggest sweetheart. She's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was very well received on all ends. Me for commissioning, MLP for being mentioned, and Maddie for being featured, I guess.
Yes.
Yay! Successful!
Yes, all around.
All right, well, switching a little bit, Raven, you've created your own OC, which is Snowdrop, right?
Yes.
Can you explain the idea behind that? How did you arrive on Snowdrop?
Well, one of my big hobbies is growing plants.
Okay.
And snowdrops are significant to me and my husband. Like, we used to go on walks when we used to live in Abbotsford, and I remember us digging up some snowdrops and keeping them for a time.
Aw, that's sweet.
And,
That's sweet.
But yeah, she is the idea behind her, and I haven't had much extra time, obviously, to really flesh out the idea, but the concept behind her is that she's a unicorn who really admires how earth ponies grow plants, so she tries to not use magic to grow her own plants.
Okay.
So she kind of keeps her magic, under wraps, and sometimes she'll pick up her sneeze and it'll come out in interesting ways.
Okay. So is that the idea behind the bandana on the head, is to cover the horn, or is that just fashion choice?
That's just because I wear bandanas.
She's literally wearing a green bandana right now.
Reason for wearing bandanas, or just like them and they're comfy and...
I like them. My mom used to wear them when I was really, really young. So,
oh, okay. So a tribute?
Kind of, yeah. I guess.
They look adorable.
Yes, they do. Yeah. If anyone hasn't seen, go check out the Everfree Northwest 2012 interview. You can see Miss Raven wearing a nice little bandana.
Actually, it was really cool. I forget exactly who I bought it from, but I found there were pony bandanas, so I bought it from.
Yeah, they were these gorgeous bandanas, and I'm sure we'll find them afterwards, and we'll make sure there's a link available. But they had embroidery on the backs of them, right where they fold over, of cutie marks or full ponies in matching colors. They were gorgeous.
Wow. Yeah, I think at this point they're really... Well, all right, let me ask you, is there anything you can think of that needs to be made that has not been made yet, like physically made? I've seen neckties, bandanas, bola ties.
That's a good question. I know we come off the cuff with a lot of these, offhand, but now that being asked.
You know what I would really like? If you remember way back in the day, there was a rumor going around that Dell was making pony laptops. and it ended up being somebody's like art project or something.
Okay,
but
okay.
there were these specialized pony laptops, and they were so cool. And I remember thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to get, and then it came out to be fake, and I was.
Of course, it was an Apple, right? Applejack.
No, it was the one they put up was a Twilight Sparkle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
I was gonna say, I just thought of something that I've been thinking of. I would love to see some blown glass pony stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good blown glass teacher over here. It's really difficult, but I'd love to learn that. Something that I'd like to see that I haven't yet, and it might be out there, just not having gone to cons, I might not have seen it. I'd like to see puppets.
Oh my god! Yeah. That'd be awesome. Like marionette puppets or hand puppets?
Well, marionette puppets would be awesome as well, but hand puppets, really, because, in my classes, I like to use puppets to relax some of the more frightened children. Hi, this is Mr. Bobo, and you're okay. You don't have to be scared and cry. And I think it'd be cool to have some pony ones.
Yeah. Somebody should get on that.
Yeah. Or if I want to go the other way and, kids are not doing homework, get out the iron will. Iron will suggests you do your homework now.
Intimidation, I see.
Yeah.
It's a final technique, but sometimes necessary. So yeah, if anybody out there has made pony puppets and you know of it, please, send me a link. Let me know. It'd be awesome. And if they have made, any of these stuff, let us know.
Yeah, it's impossible to see all of it.
And more pony jewelry. I only have 6 pieces of pony jewelry. And it's to increase.
So what pony jewelry do you have? And let's talk about that.
Oh gosh, yeah. So my favorite is from a designer called Flapjaw Space. Their website isn't up yet, but it's a lovely shrink plastic derpy pose. She's kind of flying upwards, and then farther up the chain, there's a muffin. So when you wear it, it looks like she's flying after it.
So this is necklace then?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's very cool. I have Twilight Sparkle barrettes. I have vinyl scratch earrings. I have Lyra earrings, which I love. And I wear all the time. I know I've got more. What else do I have? Oh, I have a Twilight Sparkle ring. It's her cutie mark on a ring.
Nice.
And then I have just a bracelet that's like bottle caps with resin in them with the cutie marks as a bracelet.
Oh, okay.
I pretty much just try and wear a little bit of pony every day, but then sometimes I forget that my purse is also pony, so I'll go out, I'll just throw on whatever, and I'll realize I'm wearing a pony shirt, pony bag, pony earrings, pony necklace. I'll be walking down the street and be like, alright, maybe this is too much pony for an average day.
I can imagine you just come out with that and people are like, there's a new convention. Follow her. Where is it? Where's the new convention? See if we can get more swag. Follow her.
Yeah. I'm the Roman pony convention. We kind of have one up here. We have Brony Fest, which is a ton of people. I think it was 200 or 300 at the fun. To just kind of meet up in a park. Nothing's down in Portland.
Goodness.
And hang out and it's not like vendors or anything like that. It's not a convention. It's like a really big. Well, I don't think that one is. It's actually the person who started that is Bajati, I believe, who also did Everything Fest. Right. So it's meant to just kind of be like a really big, fun meetup outside.
Right. Okay.
It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. That's a lot of people for a meetup.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to get a meetup of 3 here, so 300. Wow.
Yeah, I think our average meetups in Seattle, and someone's probably going to correct me, but the ones that I've been to are always right around 20 to 50 people.
Okay.
Nice.
Raven, have you ever crashed a meetup secretly? Just show and, hey, how you doing? Not let them know who you are?
Oh, and not let them know who I am?
Yeah.
No, I've only been to one meetup, and it was at the library in Vancouver when people were premiering the Canterlot wedding episode.
Okay.
So, but people kind of knew we were in back. Like, a couple of people came by and hugged us and wanted signatures and stuff. Oh. It was really cool.
That is cool.
It was nice getting the immediate feedback. Like, I love watching the show with people to see like what they laugh at and what they find interesting afterwards.
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, I tweeted it last night that I was on the train and I just felt like listening to Wedding. So I put that on my iPod and left it in my pocket. And yeah, I was really close to weeping by the end. I'm like, okay, we're on the train. Don't cry. Don't cry. Lots of people going to be looking at you. Don't cry.
Were you successful?
No, but I faked a sneeze. I faked a sneeze and then kind of wiped my eyes at that point. I don't know if it worked, but
Raven did one of my favorite parts of that episode. You did the song, didn't you? Yes, no?
This day aria.
Yeah, this day aria.
Yeah.
The visuals for it, anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
Those were stunning, by the way. I mean, just
Thank you.
yes. Yeah, my when I show that to my students, they always do show the eye part. Show the eye part. Okay.
Is that the part where it goes black?
No, it's the part where evil Cadence is doing the side glance at the screen, and then it fades to that's the cavern, the exact shape of the cavern.
Right.
Yeah, they love that. Yeah.
She's grinning.
Now, I did want to ask, Kat, on your DeviantArt page, it has a nice picture of you asleep, and your OC is sleeping on top of your head. Your OC is Sleepy Skies, right?
Sleepy Skies, yes.
Nice. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, so Sleepy Skies was actually the first pony drawing that I ever did. I decided to ponify myself, because like most new people in fandom, except for you, I don't know how you managed to escape this. The first thing I did was want to go ahead and make myself an OC and insert myself into the show. So Sleepy Skies is really pretty much me. I'm sleepy all the time. The blue hair is actually a wig because I lost my hair to a medical condition, and one of the medications that I'm on makes me tired all the time. If I have a day off and I'm not hanging out with wonderful Raven, it's not uncommon for me to sleep 15, 16 hours on a day off.
Wow.
So Sleepy Skies is always sleeping because of me. But her equestrian canon is that she makes the auroras. So she's up all night and she has to fly really, really fast to get all those particles up into the air.
Right.
So the rest of the time she's exhausted and sleeping on everything. So.
That's interesting. Actually, recently I had a discussion with another brony. Would Aurora fall under Celestia or Luna's jurisdiction?
I've seen there's actually one of the gentlemen online who Mr. Ibo, I believe.
Okay.
Lovely animation of a third princess who is in charge of the auroras. In my headcanon, the auroras are just like rainbows and sun dogs and that sort of thing, where it's something that Pegasi take care of as a weather phenomenon.
That makes sense. There's a logic to that. There's definitely a logic to that.
Felicity and Luna have got enough going on.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was going to ask about the blue wig, but you covered that. That's very nice.
Yes, and I like to confuse people at conventions by bringing all of my wigs and changing my hair, at least every day, sometimes multiple times a day, which sometimes backfires, but most of the time is very, very fun and confusing people.
That's actually, I haven't seen that now that we mentioned. I mean, everybody can buy wigs and they can adjust them to be ponified, but specific pony wigs.
Oh yeah, there's an amazing site on Etsy that does them.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could remember her name, but I got my Twilight Sparkle wig from her, which is one that I was wearing at Everfree. They're really high quality. Yeah, they're gorgeous. And I think it's actually, I had the ears and the horn taken off because as someone with no hair, I like to wear it on just around too.
Right.
But I believe it's the same person that did Tara Strong's wig that she cosplayed with at Campus Gardens. I believe it's the same person.
It looks
yeah, she does amazing work. Her stuff is pretty expensive, but as the owner of several wigs, the quality is insane. It's really, really worth it. So.
Well, that's definitely, someone who uses wigs does know the quality. Yeah.
Yeah, hers are very, very good.
Interesting. So. We'll see if we can find out who this is and see if we can get a link or an interview later. Ooh, I hope so.
Yeah. That'd be very cool. That's definitely one of the artisans that really the community hasn't heard from. I think people tend to focus on the custom makers and the artists and stuff, but there's a lot of craft makers out there who just really, I mean, they get a lot of attention, but they don't get in the spotlight very often. See what
I did? I've just started, but I'm trying to move the spotlight to as many as possible. But, well, speaking on crafts, Raven, have you bought any pony items online? Or I guess at cons, or something that you're especially proud of?
I bought a few. Oh my! I think her name is Casey Robin. I bought if you were at Everfree, you saw her booth with. She was dressed. Her whole family was dressed as the Applejack family.
Oh, right. The apples. Okay.
And she was selling these. It was a print called Zap apples, and I bought the original because it's just the colors are gorgeous, and she was an intern at Disney for a while.
Oh wow!
She's so nice.
We should push Chris's stuff on.
I was going to ask about. Yes, Chris. He made he does all his custom.
Chris is Otaku Squirrel on DeviantArt. He does those. The sculpted manes and tails, and we love him to death.
Oh yeah, he's so sweet. And he made Snowdrop for me, and all my coworkers have been ogling it it's so cool. The attention to detail, he's such a good man.
He is. I will put out there for him because I know he's going to be listening. He doesn't usually do OCs. He gets a lot of requests for them, but there are hundreds of hours of sculpting that go into these things.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, he did one for Sidney and one for Raven, and they're so cute.
Oh,
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, his stuff is amazing.
Now, I would imagine that at some point, Raven, your workplace would kind of be a swag competition. I would just imagine that people are like, look at what I got this week, and bringing it in and see who can get jealous over it.
Sometimes there's some of that.
Why do I feel like Sabrina would win that? She has a lot of swag.
She has the most of anybody, I think.
Sabrina is Sidney.
Definitely. It's always fun. But Jason also gets some pretty great things. Somebody sculpted his. They made an OC for him. I don't know who designed it. Huh?
I said, oh.
Oh. But he has a sculptor sitting at his desk, and I don't know what the official name is. Barking Mad the official name of her? He's got a sculpture of that. Someone said that.
I've heard Barking Mad, and I've heard Loose Screw for her.
Yeah. So he's got one of those. It's not a few things.
She was the pony in Read It and Weep.
The barking.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, yes. Yeah.
We love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it your joke? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I like the fact that it was, I don't know, for me, the only dogs we've seen have been Winona and Cerberus and Barking Mad, if that's the name.
She's very proud of them.
Yep.
Well, Kat, I've noticed one thing that you mentioned, you still use a mouse to do the art?
I do. That's why it takes me so long. Yeah.
Wow.
I do hand sketches, and then scan them in, and then I do pretty much everything between 300 and 600 dpi, so really, really big.
Okay.
And a part of that is because since I am doing it with a mouse, I need to have a lot of room for error.
Okay.
That way when I shrink it down, it looks decent.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it takes me, for a completely finished drawing, I'll be on the computer for 10 to 12 hours.
Wow.
Just going through and coloring and shading and everything with the mouse. So I just started Kat's daring project to stop going to Starbucks and save up to buy a Cintiq. And if you're a Seattle native, stopping going to Starbucks every day is very, very difficult.
Just come over to
I know, we could just come over. Mark Carrion is, we're staying at Mark Carrion's house right now to do this interview, and he makes the best coffee. He's head of media and PR for Everfree Northwest.
Amazing.
The best.
God.
She spoils us.
We're drinking it right now. Ice. It's great.
Yeah. Iced eggnog lattes. They're
I do miss eggnog. Not available over here. Have to hand make it. Now, I think it was, it was recently, wasn't it you, Raven, who was talking about foot pain? Has that gotten better?
Oh yeah, I was talking with you. Yeah, I ended up getting some like cheap little insole kind of like arch support. I have feet, so my toe was killing me every time I walk, and I'm like a permanent pedestrian. I don't drive, so like not having the use of my foot. One of the doctors I went to said I overused my toe and to stop using it, and it's like, that's not an option.
So I cannot use a single toe.
Stop playing this little piggy game. It's really disrupting your...
I went to a better doctor, and he upgraded it to fallen arches. Ridiculous. It's much better now, though.
That's good.
But now I have inflamed tailbone.
Oh, no.
Woo! Makes a lot of fun. Sitting down all the time.
Yeah, I know when I lived in Kobe, those massive hills just killed my feet walking home every night. And I don't know, I haven't been to the Seattle-Vancouver area, but maps I've seen show a lot of hills.
Yeah, I've never been to Vancouver, but Seattle is ridiculously hilly. We have some extreme ones. Yeah.
Vancouver is less than Seattle, but more than like Chicago, mid like Wisconsin, where I'm from. So yeah, I can't use your solution of moving to a flatter place.
It really worked for me. I moved from Kobe to Osaka, and Osaka's flat and really nice, but yeah, I understand. You have to go where the work is.
Yeah, but thank you for like attempting to help me though.
At least you're not working on ponies while you're injured, because it's pound puppies right now.
Pound puppies, yeah, which is still, it's a week short of schedule, so it's still kind of intense.
Right.
And this has, I forget when I started working, but it was a really long contract. Like, I'm getting used to having breaks here and there, and I haven't had a break in a while, so thumbs up. Because I'm hunched over, like, I get kind of intense. Like, there are days where I don't move from my spot physically.
Oh, wow.
Like, just stay, like, in this half-curled ball, like, over my, because I don't use a Cintiq at home. Like, I work from home a lot of the time. I don't use Cintiq. I use a tablet PC.
Okay.
It's always in my lap.
Right.
But yeah, there's probably things I could do to so.
Well, yeah, obviously, and yeah, people in Seattle could go to Starbucks less and save money. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh, especially it's pumpkin spice season. You can't do it to me.
I should see if the Starbucks here have that.
Oh yeah.
Because pumpkin pie doesn't exist over here, but you can get that flavoring at times. They've actually they've just put out a pumpkin pudding Kit Kat, which is amazingly good. It's like pumpkin pie covered in chocolate. Oh.
You should send us some of those.
That sounds.
We'll talk.
Yes.
Make a note on the swag list. Okay, swag list, pumpkin pudding, Kit Kat. It's
I'm just fantasizing now.
Yeah, I know.
It's a double-edged sword over here. There's a lot of new products that happen all the time, but they don't stay. When they say limited time, they mean it. Once this is stopped, it's never coming back.
That's interesting.
There was a wonderful McDonald's sandwich, lemon pepper beef. It was like shaved beef sautéed in a lemon pepper sauce and then grilled on a sandwich, and it was only for a month. It was amazing, and it's never coming back. I only have memories.
Beef in a McDonald's sandwich sounds
Well, and people who are on my Twitter feed would know there was a recent sandwich called the Aussie Deli Beef Sandwich, and it was really good. It was a pastrami on top of a specifically soft mochi bun.
Ooh.
And it was wonderful, but the bun itself looked like buttocks. But yeah, it's a big difference if you go to, like pumpkin spice latte, it's only for October, but it's coming back every year.
And it's not actually. They started at mid-September this year.
Oh, okay, so a little earlier. So they're getting smart, yeah.
They are. And then right after that, eggnog comes in. This is not going to happen until eggnog goes away. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anything over here, they'll have it, and it'll be great, and then it's gone forever. So if I don't stock up, it's gone.
Oh my gosh, that is a butt.
It is a butt sandwich.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's halfway joking.
Nope, that is a butt.
It's absolutely a butt. Yep.
You could probably crop that and trick people.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably could. I think somebody pointed it out to me, but the fact that it's with cheese just struck them as so hilarious.
This is a PG show, and you better be so glad, because there's so many jokes I could be making right now, and I'm just not.
Well, I'll ask you not to make those jokes. I don't. Okay. Bad puns. Bad puns. I hear giggling, and I'm glad.
Yep. We're just staring at each other, giggling. Oh dear.
We may have to put out an PG version of this show, and then if you add it, we'll give you a download link for the actual puns that. Yeah, we just spent like 15 minutes doing terrible puns that we can't show you. Sorry.
We'll have an after hours.
In the spotlight after dark. Wait, no, that doesn't work.
Wait, no.
Dark spotlight. No, crap.
People are going to get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I'm joking, anyway, everyone out there. There was no editing. Well, there was, but not for this. Well, Raven, you mentioned this was a longer contract than you're used to. How long, for someone who has no idea, me, how long does an average contract last?
Well, I guess the season 2 one was for quite a bit, but it's long enough to...
Is it like a 9-month schedule, 9 months out of the year, or... I honestly have no idea.
I think I started this one in April, and it goes to December.
Okay, so 9 months then.
Yeah, I consider that kind of long for this, because, like, you don't get any breaks in between boards, and it's really, it's a lot of work.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and a lot of mental work, like, it's nice just being, like, in Seattle for the weekend. Like, It's a real, like, cool down for me.
We kidnapped him.
Yeah.
Well, sure, yeah, you gotta have time to blow off steam, absolutely.
How long were your AKA contracts?
Oh, I think they were like twice as long.
Wow.
I can't remember, but I think we had twice the people, twice the time, for half the length.
Oh, wow.
Like 11 minutes. Like, we had much longer. Like, I think 4 weeks just to thumbnail.
Wow. That was for edit and editing.
Yeah, and I think here we had like 2 weeks maximum to thumbnail. For 22 minutes instead of 11 minutes, so it's that's quite a different system.
Yeah. Is the difference just different companies, or is it, economy's gotten worse and we need to crunch down, or?
Different companies, like, DHX is used to a faster schedule for I've only been there a few years, but I've always seen that it's a quicker pace, whereas, Cartoon Network shows, I don't know how it is anymore because I've only worked on it and Eddie for Cartoon Network.
Right.
But I probably have more time there.
Okay. Oh, and a little bit of fanning here. Have you guys seen the Cartoon Network 20th anniversary short?
I started crying.
I haven't seen it yet.
I started crying.
Oh, really recommend it. It's so nostalgic. Amazing.
We'll watch it.
Yes.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
Like, right in the childhood. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'll probably be reminded of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a bit of it's like, and he's here too. Oh, I remember that. Pause it, I want to look at him again.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're getting higher quality American cartoon, or Western media cartoons, I should say. In fact, we were talking about this last night at dinner, and we've got Adventure Time and Regular Show and Gravity Falls, which is Disney, and Ponies, which is it's so refreshing. Oh
yes, absolutely.
It felt like there was a bit of a black hole there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I think that at any point, there's always going to be some bright spots. I mean, I really think, if we go back a bit further, Animaniacs was an incredible...
Oh, yeah.
That's...
Oh, yeah. I think we're talking about in between those two.
Oh, yeah, in between, yeah.
Yeah.
Like late 90s, early 2000s, I think, was kind of golden.
Well, even then, Powerpuff Girls...
That was earlier, wasn't it?
I thought it was.
As much? Oh,
I don't know,
not.
much earlier. I think it's around that time, because, my fellow grad school students and I were very much into Powerpuff Girls, which is an odd thing for just this to be, but hey. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, because there are points in my life where I remember watching a lot of cartoons, and then there's others where I only have a memory of one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of, the dark ages.
I think as long as there are people who remember the good shows, there will be those people who grow up and want to recreate that.
I'm almost wondering if it's cyclical, where there's a really good generation of cartoons and kids grow up, and then when they're in middle school and high school, it kind of goes downhill, and then once they get into animation themselves, then they push it back up. And
well, you look at now I'm kind of like, I'm not that well versed in all the details of animation history, but if you look at the first animation, like Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes, and then like there's the whole I wasn't that big of a fan of like Hanna-Barbera, like the late Hanna-Barbera stuff, with like Scooby Doo and I'm trying to remember, but I know when I was a kid, I wasn't really excited about those cartoons. I was excited about Looney Tunes. I was excited about Disney.
Right.
And then, like, late Hanna-Barbera stuff was around, but then there was, like, the 80s Disney Renaissance, like, with Little Mermaid and Rabbit.
Well, even just Disney, I mean, in my opinion, if you look at the movies, there was high quality, and then we get to... I love the movie Robin Hood by Disney, but I have to admit, that time, a lot of things in it just seemed kind of lazy to me.
A lot of them were animation recyclings.
Yeah. And animation recyclings, Baloo and Little John were the same character. I mean, identical.
Yeah,
and
they were.
I love the movie. I have a fond memory of watching that movie in childhood, but I don't think it was the best work. But then you're right, Little Mermaid comes out and wham, goes right up there again.
Don't tell Susie, I think that one's her favorite. Robin Hood.
Oh, it's not that it's a bad movie.
No, I'm teasing.
It's that, like, stylistically.
It was. There was a lot of...
Yeah, I like to fantasize, man, if they had put the effort into Robin Hood that they put into Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, can you imagine how phenomenal that would have been?
Oh, yeah, like, Beauty and the Beast is amazing. Yeah. Like, the intensity in that movie. Like, the Beast himself, like, all of the scenes are amazing.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say about Robin Hood, like, I think that, like, they were, like, training a lot of people in that phase. Like, I think that's what they were passing the torch.
Right.
So a lot of people were still learning. Like, I think Don Bluth did he work on that one? I can't remember when he left.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I know a lot of for the people interested going into animation, if you're thinking about Disney, a lot of the kind of proving grounds are with the straight to video sequels and movies and stuff like that. Yeah, the ones that don't end up on the big screen are a lot of where they're doing their final training stages.
Yeah.
For the new folks. So that's where a lot of that comes from.
Nice that exists.
Oh yeah. Well, and
you never. Huh?
No, I was. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, regardless of, like, what school you go to and, like, what you've read, like, nothing teaches you the job more than doing the job.
Absolutely.
Like, when I came to AKA, I didn't really, like, I kind of knew what storyboarding was, but, like, I learned so much there just from doing it.
You should tell the story of how you got in, because that's my favorite.
Oh, I like stories.
It's my favorite.
Tell us a story, Raven.
Well, I was going to college in Chicago for animation, but I was also at the same time like super into Ed Nettie, and I was posting fan art online. Someone, her name is Kit, who used to run the Edtropolis site. She saw my stuff, and she had pretty close contact with AKA Studios, and at the time I thought like Ed Nettie was over because it was after season 4. I heard that was the last season. It was super sad. And then I get this email from Kit, and she's like, well, the show's not ending. You should, your fan art's the best I've ever seen. You should contact them. Here's their info. Ask them for a test. And I did that. And I remember talking with Dan, the producer, and I think, like, I was so, like, nervous and talking to him, I think I hung up on him, like, way too fast. Like, he was like, oh, yeah, well, we'll send you a test and whatnot, and I was just too overwhelmed.
Yeah. But what she's not telling you is the best test they've ever had, and they thought that it was somebody senior coming in and doing it kind of as a joke.
They thought it was they thought it was fake, like
somebody was pranking them and cheating on it.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's excellent. That really speaks to the quality. That's
I also quit college to go. I was 3 months away from graduating. And my parents were dead set against me, quitting. But I was on scholarship and everything, so as far as I was concerned, it wasn't like I was throwing a bunch of money away.
That's true.
You had a job.
And I had to do. Yeah, and I talked to the head of my department, who was kind of humming and hawing, but then I told him who it was for, Danny Antonucci, and then he just, like, smacked his hands down on the desk and was like, go do it. Like,
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, what a great story. Yay!
That one. She's giving me the look of, why did you make me tell that story?
Well, I probably would have if she hadn't, but
No, but it should be like I do like telling it because people who really love something, like, you can go work on it if you're, if you have a little bit of luck and a little bit of talent. Like, I feel like I'm very lucky. So.
Well, I think fortune does have something to do with it, but fortune will only get you so far. I mean, you're a senior storyboard artist. You have quality. You're dang good at what you do, and that's obvious to anybody who's watched the show.
She's done some of my favorite scenes, some of my favorite gags, for sure. In Lesson 0, Twilight popping out of the ball, the hi girls, that was the first. Love it.
How long did it take to get that face like you wanted it to? The hi girl's face.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I do spend a bit more time on the close-ups and, those. So I'd probably say, like, maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun with the expression of her first. Like, it was like literally 4 a.m. when I drew that part where she comes out of the bushes and she's got the bird nest on her head.
Okay.
And I was making that face when I was drawing it. And it's 4 a.m. and I'm giggling like, this is so funny. So, I was living Lesson 0 while making Lesson 0.
I live Lesson 0 every day.
Me and Nicole, like, who were working on the end of that one, like, Nicole Wang, another board artist, I remember toward the end of it, we were embracing each other crying because we were just like so frazzled and so trying to meet the deadline, like, our arms hurt, we have to keep going.
Oh, goodness.
It was great.
Yeah, it definitely panned out. That's definitely one of the fan favorites, absolutely.
The funny thing about that one is I keep hearing that, like, people think there's a lot of fan service in it, like, with Rainbow Dash and the sunglasses and all that, but, like, that was my first episode, and I didn't know anything about the fans. Putting the sunglasses on was like, oh, Rainbow Dash kind of reminds me of Eddie. Eddie would wear sunglasses here. I'll put sunglasses on him. Like, as far as his,
happy accident.
Yeah.
That's great.
I personally, Lesson Zero is my favorite episode, and I think a lot of that is because I see a lot of Ed and Eddie in that episode.
Oh, okay.
That's like the best thing I've done since Ed and Eddie, so like...
Yeah. Really. I could feel it. I remember watching that episode right after, that's the first, besides the premiere episode of season 2.
Yeah.
And being like, oh man, whoever they got on this, I am all about it. And it was Raven, and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Well, and that's kind of a lead-in. I like to ask this question. What do you think, and this is for both of you, is there one specific scene or line that defines you as related to the fandom?
Oh.
So, well, I guess, I don't know. Raven, would you consider yourself a brony? I mean, I know you work on the show, but are you a fan enough of it to be called a brony?
I think so.
Okay, then you are. That's it.
You're wearing a Fluttershy shirt right now.
I'm wearing the Fluttershy Nouveau shirt from We Love Fine.
Then that's wonderful. So which line or scene from the show defines your bronydom, your personal bronydom? Can you think of something?
I've got one.
Go.
Yeah.
Once again from Lesson Zero.
Okay.
You don't have to hide your feelings from me. That pretty much sums up my life.
That's beautiful.
Yep. Ship everything.
Oh my god. Totally. You, oh my god. I'll tell you something later.
How about you, Raven? Can you think of any scene or line that calls to you?
Like that makes me a fan?
No, that when you see it, you're like, oh, that's me. That's absolutely me.
I might answer this for you or give you an idea. Barking Mad was her gag, and that's basically her.
I do bark and yell.
I know.
Like Joel Dickey, who works on, he worked in Layout, and he worked as a board artist on My Little Pony, and he's a senior at AKA, like, he used to call me Pet Shop, because I can speak while I'm sitting there working.
Oh. All right.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. This is a tough question.
I'm sorry.
I like how mine just goes straight to shipping.
But I'd say it's the part that I've actually worked on.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm just struggling with the part, like, as it relates to the...
Well, as it relates to you, then. The most, I mean, you said that you had the same expression with the bird's nest on your head. So that would be a good example, I guess, of late night.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that whole episode, obviously. But, like, there's some parts, like, when I was first doing the boards for Miss A Aria, it was the song. There was a line in the song, like, I'm trying to remember the part, but it's the part where Cadence is upset that she can't move the park by herself, and she's just trying to, get the one to like, that's the part that touches me.
Yeah.
I'm not answering your question.
Oh, that is a wonderful answer to the question, I think. That's great. Oh.
I always hear a very small song.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people do. And I can tell you that there are at least 50 Japanese students who know that song in its entirety.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Some, granted, some of the 10-year-old boys don't like singing along with it. And I'm like,
10-year-old
you're gonna sing.
Singing about smiles? No.
You're gonna sing the Smile song, and we're gonna be happy, and that's how it's going. No. They really enjoyed the song until I played the video for them, and they're still at the age where, oh, this is pink and this is cute, and that means it's not for me because I'm a boy, type things.
Right.
A few of them got it, but there are a lot of the 10-year-old boys were like, no, this is not boys animation.
Yeah. And there's a pretty big defining line in that in Japanese animation too, so I can imagine that would be a hard line to cross over.
It is, yeah. And they don't think much of me doing it because you're a foreigner. You're going to do strange things. That's expected.
You get a ticket out.
Yeah, they, as far as they're concerned, well, yeah, I mean, he likes the pink ponies, but he's a foreigner. So, yeah, okay. I guess all foreigners do.
Someday.
Ooh, we can hope.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, is there anything that either of you would like to plug while we're here?
We plugged Otaku Squirrel.
Yes.
He's the best.
Which sounds bad in itself, but...
Yeah. No, he's fantastic. You should go check out his stuff. I'm going to be sharing a table with him again at Equestria LA coming up here in November.
Oh, lovely.
And you should come by and say hi. I don't know if I'm going to be selling anything yet. I might just be sitting there with him. It's so weird that people want my autograph. I'm not used to that yet. It's very bizarre. Yeah.
If you have your autograph, would you use it on a Sleepy Skies poster or just something that you've done?
You know, it was really interesting. For Everfree Northwest, I made pony bookmarks.
Yes, those were amazing. Everybody raved about those.
Which is really interesting because they actually didn't sell very well.
Really?
Yeah, no, I
okay, well then everybody who got them raved about them.
Yeah, I know Andrea loved them and Tabitha.
Yeah.
It was very interesting that they didn't sell. They were not badly priced. I don't think they were $5. Anyway, not the point. The point is that I had some Sleepy Skies ones too, and the Sleepy Skies ones sold before any of the main sets.
Really?
Sold out completely. She's the only one I completely sold out of. Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, I had a couple people who knew me just from Tumblr come up, and I assumed that most of the people would be coming by because they did a whole poster with all of the Everfree Northwest announcement art for all of the voice actors, and I had it all in one big thing, and it was really great for autographs, and we auctioned one off that was fully autographed and all that stuff. And I assumed most people would be coming back for that, but I actually had a lot of people come by who just wanted to talk about the Tumblr, and I've done maybe 4 pictures on that Tumblr. It needs a lot of love. I'm just so busy. It will. Ask Sleepy Skies has not been forgotten. But yeah, it was amazing and strange and very surreal.
That's awesome. Raven, anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I would plug Kat, but she's sitting right here. Plugging herself. Oh dear. Don't give me that look.
PG! Keep it PG!
I killed her.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many great artists that I'm not familiar with all their names.
Well, on the projects that you're working on, I mean, we mentioned Pound Puppies, and I think it's safe to say anybody listening to this is going to tune in for season 3.
Well, like almost all of the board artists from Ponies moved on to Pound Puppies in the meantime.
Okay.
So
check out Pound Puppies, everybody.
Yeah.
There's this amazing gentleman on DeviantArt whose name is the Flash Guy, and
that guy is awesome.
Yeah, he does these hysterical comics, and they started out with just Wildfire, but Wildfire as Sidzy working on the show with Jason and stuff like that, and
kind of scary enough.
Yeah, and he put Snowdrops Meter Way in there and stuff like that, and
Jason's in there.
Yeah, and it's just amazing because he really gets a lot of it incredibly accurate without doesn't really know us, but he just gets up. It's very cool. But yeah, his comics are hysterical, and a lot of the interactions about making the stuff is pretty spot on. It's pretty fantastic.
Excellent.
I will plug Mark Arian because he's starting to post more of his music. Like he did a musical, like a song called Monument recently.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful pianist.
Yes, his piano covers of things are just absolutely fabulous, and he doesn't get the love and attention he deserves.
No, man, he played for us last night and yesterday.
You were crying.
Yeah, it brings tears to my eyes. Like beautiful, beautiful music. Ah, you fandom, you're so talented.
I think the fandom would reciprocate and say, "You staff, you're so talented."
Everywhere you turn, there's something amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys very much for talking with me today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. All right, everyone, this is Osaka Jack with Into the Spotlight for Everfree Radio. See you next time.
I'm one of those people. If I'm drawing a sad picture, I will sit there with this frown on my face, and my husband will walk in, and he'll be like, "Oh no, what happened? Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "I'm just working on this really sad picture, and it's just coming out."
It really helps. Like when I worked at AKA, I always had a mirror at my desk, and just like not just looking into the mirror to check your expressions, but actually making the face it makes you feel it.
It comes through. You can, if you've been doing art for a long time, you can actually tell what mood you were in when you were working on a piece.
Sure. Well, and there have been psychology studies that show that just performing the facial expression will change your mood.
I can see that works.
I've tried it.
So if you're feeling sad, try smiling more. It makes you happier.
Yeah, and not like putting a false smile on. It's just
no.
If you put a little effort into trying to genuinely feel it, I can attest that it actually works. I don't know why I'm making hand gestures.
Just for me.
Yeah. Just for you.
Oh.
Well, the hand gestures were so specific I could actually see them. It was very amazing. You formed sound pictures with your hands. It was very cool. Well, see, Kat, I know this.
I saw it and was immediately taken with the animation and the characters, and I'm an 80s girl, so ponies already had a special place in my heart.
Right.
And I thought, oh gosh, I should really try this. And started drawing it and was instantly hooked.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
How about you, Raven? How did you start? Do you remember?
Start drawing or start?
Yeah. Drawing in general or art in general. What pulled you into it?
Cartoons. Like just anything that I watched as a kid. I'm trying to remember specifically because it was even before Disney Afternoon and Rescue Rangers. That's when I really, really got into it. But I always drew cats and people and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I was really, really but yeah, just I guess persisting for it always helped me relax.
Okay. Well, sure. I think a lot of people, relax with it. I am terrible at drawing, but if I sketch out a pony in 25 minutes, I'm like, oh, I feel better.
Drawing a smile sometimes makes me smile.
Spotlight is a show that focuses on the person behind the brony. I'm your host, Osaka Jack. Please sit back and relax as we talk to this week's guest brony. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Into the Spotlight. This is your host, Osaka Jack, and with me I have a guest and a special guest. Today I have with me Kat Whitney. Hello, Kat.
Hello. Hi there.
How are things today?
Good. Very good.
And with Kat, we have someone else that we might know. Hello.
Hello.
For those listening who don't immediately recognize the voice, and why wouldn't you, could you sign in, mystery caller?
This is Raven Molisee. I'm a board artist on My Little Pony.
Yay!
A senior board artist. Yeah. Yes.
Do you get the AARP discount for being a senior board artist?
No. They have AARP in Canada?
That'd be cool. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I've lived there for how long now?
That might be worth trying. Go to the movies. Can I get senior discount? It says it right there on my business card. Look, senior board artist. Come on.
I've trapped you.
For those who don't know, both of my guests are quite prolific artists in their own right. Well, just, Kat, how did you get started drawing pony?
Drawing pony. Ponies actually pulled me back into art. I was a huge artist growing up, and in high school, my uncle actually is a relatively famous artist in his own right. He's done a lot of stuff, and I grew up with him teaching me how to draw.
Oh.
And then, right after high school, I just kind of got depressed with the whole thing, and I started working retail 40 hours a week and would come home and pass out and not draw anything. And probably about 6 months into the first season of My Little Pony,
you get a lot of requests for commissions on your DeviantArt page. How many do you do in average time? Like how many?
Not so much. A lot of the projects that I work on are special requests from friends, or I did all of the announcement artwork for Everfree Northwest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm working on a big kind of secret project with Acoustic Brony. And then I have a huge commission, which I can't go into specifics about, but I have a really big one from the one and only Tabitha St. Germain right now.
Oh, goodness.
So most of my time is taken up by special projects. Commissions 2 or 3 times a year when I really need food money. But I do get a ton of requests, and I'm just so flattered that people would want to spend their money on my artwork. It's pretty amazing to me that this has happened in a year.
Yeah.
But I really can't open them up as much as I'd want to. Hopefully soon I'll catch up with everything and be able to open them up again.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is a limit. You know, if you try to please everybody, you'll please nobody.
Exactly.
I know I mentioned it in a different interview, but you did finish a commission for me recently that had Scootaloo.